Hello and welcome to WhatKeepsYouAwake.tv. With the support of our show sponsor, MBPS, it's time again to dive into the hustles, the hurdles, and the highs that keep small business leaders up at night. I'm your host, David Hooser, and am intrigued by today's guest, Roseanne Higgins.
Hello.
Roseanne founded SPiES, LLC, for the single and especially selective entrepreneur to keep them focused on their core mission, but still find that someone special they can't wait to come home to. Roseanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. What keeps you awake is definitely a part of the entrepreneur life.
It's a daily concern, right? So let's get started with those foundational questions. So tell me, as someone who knows the importance of finding love in all the right places, what keeps you up late at night?
Well, do you want me to tell you what I do?
Let's talk a little bit about what you do and then
Okay.
how that keeps you awake at night. Good idea.
I go to events. I approach women. My guys are busy running their companies, having employee meetings, taking a startup to a multi-million-dollar operation, and they don't have time to go out at the bars, and they don't want the girl that they would get at the bar who wants maybe half of their assets in a few years. Or they don't want to do the apps. If they ever did try it, they don't have the time to, and they don't have the money or want to spend the money on dating the wrong women for a long time,
Right.
only to find out they're wrong.
Right.
So they want to economize on time. They want to maximize on quality, just like they would in business.
Okay.
So they're making a decision to hire somebody who's connected. So I've been to over 15,000 events on their behalf, approaching women that if they were standing right beside me, they would say, "Roseanne, what about her?
Yeah.
Go
talk
get
to her?
that one."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think about that when I go up to these women. Is if like Sunday at the 5K run, I saw this group having a blast, taking a photo together, a bunch of young Asian women, and they were just fun, vibrant. I'm
Okay.
like, I don't know how many of them are single, but I'm going to find out. Because if my guys were here, they would say, "What are you thinking?
What are you waiting on?"
Yeah. So I said, "Hey, can I photobomb you?" And I get their names and their numbers and send them the picture right then and there. And that's just one example.
So you're matchmaking.
I'm headhunting, and then I matchmake.
And you're headhunting.
Yes,
Okay.
and I tell them I'm a matchmaker, and I'm hired by the most eligible men in Arizona,
Okay.
or who have second homes here, and they are ready for a relationship of a lifetime, and they're not players. They're not the guys that you would be
Right.
disappointed on that
Right.
don't have any intentions of committing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for entrepreneurs that are focused on their mission, for accomplished business owners, operators,
Attorneys,
You're-
doctors, they're also entrepreneurial.
absolutely,
They're running their
their own
professions.
their own business
Yes.
most of the time. But it could be successful executives in larger companies as well,
Right?
that just simply have less time
They
available.
have travel, if they have kids,
Yeah.
they've got half custody. So,
Right.
and when they are focused on their kids, they're focused.
Right.
So when
Okay.
they have the off week, it's like, what do I do now? I'm not going to go to the bars. I'm not going to do the apps. How do I find someone? And how can I do better this time, maybe?
Right. How to find the right someone. I mean, you're in business, everything you do, you're planning, you're strategizing, you're executing to achieve the greatest outcome
Right.
you can. So why would this be any different? And
Yeah.
I think sometimes we think it is different, but it's really it's a business type of endeavor.
And it's like if you do the same thing and you keep on having a bad outcome, you keep on repeating the same
Right.
mistakes.
Right.
But it's easy to do that because you know how to attract the wrong women.
That's
so it's
right.
easy to repeat it.
That's right.
And to repeat it again because you're so visual that you just can't stop yourself from getting the girl who actually has her act together because you never found out if she did until it was too late.
Okay, so let's talk about, by the way, you brought up earlier, you are former Navy, so
Yes.
happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you. They say once a chief, always a chief. I got a commission after I got a degree. It took me like 7 colleges in 7 different duty stations to get
Oh,
a
my
college
goodness.
degree. And
Yeah.
And I salute every Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, veteran, National Guard out there
Sure.
for their service.
Sure. thank you all for your service if you're a veteran in our audience today. So
And active duty.
And active duty as well. And, first responders and anyone who's serving or in a capacity to serve others. So, but let's talk about you, because that's what you do. You serve your clients. How'd you get started in this? How long have you been
Great
doing
question.
this?
Okay, so it was 1994. I was at an event. I was in network marketing because I was sold that I could grow a company and sell these protein bars and this very ugly tasting drink. And I was approaching attractive women because they could be business owners themselves if they became a distributor.
Got it.
And they'd be drawn to this because they were into fitness. So I was at the Plaza Club, which used to, I don't know if you remember it, it was at the top of the building at Osborne and Central in the penthouse. And it cost $1,000 a year back in 1994, which is a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
A guy at the elevator at the end of the night says, "Roseanne, I want to meet the women you're meeting." And I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean?" He's like, "Those two girls over there." And I'm like, "Well, you're here, they're here."
Walk over.
Yeah.
Say hi.
He says, "It doesn't work like that."
Yeah.
One of the guys who hired me, he's a CEO, he's employed thousands of people in the Valley. He said, when I did show him his lineup, he did hire me. He couldn't believe I knew this one girl. He says, "I've seen her at True Food, but she's always with this girlfriend of hers. So I don't know anything about her, so I'm
Right.
never going to approach her. He's not the player."
Right.
And he's a good-looking, 6'2", fit guy. Used to work out with Mac Newton's Taekwondo. Had 11% body fat. He was fit and successful and a good guy. He got recommended to me by his college roommate. He used to play college football. And a girl I hit on at an event that was his best friend, who was attractive, of course. And they both said, "You got to call Roseanne." And he says, "Why should I hire you? I get set up by my friends 2 to 3 times a week." I said, "Well, are there any girls left in Scottsdale?"
Right.
If I find someone, have you already dated her? He says, "No, I definitely haven't dated everybody." I said, "So what's wrong? Could you fall even if I put the right one in front of you?" And I don't know if you want to know all those, but
Sure,
just in case.
absolutely.
I mean, this is what keeps him up at night. Everybody's
That's
trying
right.
and nobody's landing.
Right.
So how do you compensate? How do you do it better? And so he's like, "How do I know you can do this? How do I know you can do this?" Just because my friends told me, and they've seen you network at events, and one was approached by me. I said, "Well," he said he was going to the wine taste. He lived at the Scottsdale waterfront and put on by the Boys and Girls Club, Men's
Sure,
Auxiliary.
been there many times.
Yes, and it's like it's the second best place all year to meet singles if you're in the Valley. Phoenix Open being number 1. Yep.
Used to be. Scottsdale Culinary Festival was good, too.
It was in the top 5. And so I said, "Well, we'll go to that." And he got me a ticket, and we had a private thing up by the pool at his waterfront place with him and his best friends. And we go wandering around at the festival, and I said, "Show me who you're attracted to." So he says, "How about that one?" I'm like, "I'll be right back." And I just make a beeline. And I can't tell from a distance if she's wearing a ring, but I
Right.
find out really quickly.
Right.
And I got her name, got her information. I'm like, I said, "I don't know if you're single, but if you are, I would totally love to know you. I'm a matchmaker. I work with the most eligible guys in town."
Okay.
And usually they're flattered.
And this was the
and they
beginning.
have to be nice. Yeah.
This was the beginning. So
Of him, just him.
Right,
And I don't
just
know
working
anything
with one
about her.
client.
I only know her based on her
Right.
looks, that she takes care of herself, that she smiles. Smiles is
This is
like
important.
huge. If a girl has a genuine smile and doesn't look like she's just always smiling,
Right,
like it's
right.
it's her exercise to catch a man. No, I want to know, does she laugh genuinely?
Well, and that's the interesting thing that you're talking about is it's easy to see someone that that you have some kind of visual connection with. At least you do. You don't know if they do. And then, but it's not. The breakdown comes after that.
A
When you
man
find
approaches
out.
a beautiful woman,
That's right.
and things may leave his brain.
That's right.
And me, nothing changes.
Right.
I don't have any skipping thought. I am eye connecting, finding out, are you really single?
But you know the right questions to find out if they're genuine.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
a
I
lot
ask,
of
how
us.
do you support yourself?
Right.
How do you pay your bills?
Right.
What are you looking for in a man financially?
Right.
I ask those. You can't ask that if you're trying to ask her out, especially if she's somebody you really want to go on a date with just based on what you see right here.
Yeah, I agree. So you've got
So
to
I go
really go deep. And,
Yeah.
and that's not something that a guy can do when he first comes up to someone he's interested in. So
You would look mental because you can't carry it off.
that's right.
And be genuine and just, well, I've got a list of 5 questions. I had a CPA do that with me on a date one time. He had all of his 5 questions ready. How do you like your job? And tell me about your job. Who told him I wanted to talk about my job on my date?
Right. That's right. Where do you live? It's those things that, we're not all that creative. We have millions of thoughts in our mind, but it's how do we connect with this one person?
And you're too scared, not scared. You don't want to blow it.
That's right.
So when you guys bring your A game, though, I got to admit, you guys are impressive. I have seen it kick into gear where you're just normal with me, but then I'm standing with an attractive girl that you want to go on a date with, and all of a sudden I see a whole different version of you.
New personality in front of you.
There you are.
All right. Sounds good. And speaking of whole new personality, you do have an event later on tonight, right?
I do.
A big gala.
Big change happening momentarily.
All right. Well, in the meantime, we're going to take a quick sponsor break, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back from our break, and oh my, look at this. You're ready for galaing.
Yes, I am. Governor's Celebration of Innovation is tonight, honoring Arizona's top innovators, and it's always exciting. I found a bride for one of my clients at one of them.
Well, everywhere you go is a potential
and you
connection.
just never know. We were walking into the Phoenix Convention Center, and I said, what do you do? Because they're all innovators. I want to know what is exciting and what they're excited about. And they said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a matchmaker. I go to events and I find women that my guys would like to date and fall in love with. And I could see her parents looking at her knowingly, like sending a message telepathically. See, we were just talking about this. You got to know her.
There's a reason you're here.
They nudged her. Yeah.
Yeah, well, cool. So the event tonight, what number will that make? 15,000?
I actually asked ChatGPT to help me plan out. I want to do a video timeline of each of the drawers because I have a drawer, 31 drawers full of invitation name tags and brochures for each year. So from 1994, 95, 96, 98 had 2 boxes. I don't know why there were so many more back then. I think it's because I had to decide which events were better to hunt at. Like the Heart Ball is a couples event. I learned the hard way when they sat me at the singles table. Yeah. One singles table, half single. Yeah, so.
That's funny.
Yeah, and a couple that was at it ended up contacting me after it.
And my wife, I was telling you, my wife and I were at a fundraiser in Nevada and Las Vegas last night. So, and kind of the same thing. You could tell it was mostly couples.
Men don't go somewhere often without a date.
Right.
So you can't hunt at it. And I didn't know that in the early days, 30 years ago. I didn't understand it. I definitely don't want to split up anybody. So it was really, who do you know? You guys are an amazing couple. Do you know any single friends that I should know? I just did that at the Veterans Medical Leadership Council on Friday night. Terry Bradshaw was our speaker. It was an incredible event. And this couple I met going out, the girl, they own a hyperbaric facility. Eminent something. I'm sorry, I don't remember the second part of their name. But they were so nice and supportive of veterans. And she says, I've got 3 beautiful single girlfriends I want to send you.
So connection through the connection.
We've got 5 million people here. We know somebody.
Right.
We all
so
know
let's talk a minute about the process. So you typically are you engage with the
men typically
men.
hire me.
Okay.
Just because I found that, one, men don't share well. My first client was an emergency room physician, and I said, do you know other single doctors I should know at the hospital? And he says, are you nuts? And I'm like, I don't get it. And he says, I'm not going to let anybody else swim.
I'm not going to build my competition.
That's right. I'm not going to let anybody else swim in my pool.
That's funny.
I'm like, okay, but women, we don't think we want the same man. So we'll share with all of our girlfriends that we go to the gym with, Pilates, yoga. Yeah, all of us want to meet a great guy.
Okay.
So you need to know Roseanne. So they all send them to me.
Okay. So you generally contract with a male client.
Mm-hmm.
And
I do have 3 women, though, that I am looking for.
Okay, that 3 female clients.
Yeah, like one of them's looking
that
for a
you're looking
Harley
for
riding
men.
Christian.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, I actually went into the Harley Davidson Scottsdale, the largest one in the country. Bob
Yep.
Parsons owns it.
Yep.
And I'm like, these guys probably know my guy, and
Sure.
they were so friendly and
It's where
helpful.
you hunt.
Yeah.
So you come into whatever the arrangement is. You have a contract, a formal contract.
Yes.
So we execute the contract. Are you?
I begin
is
right
there-
away.
there-
As soon as the
there's
money clears the bank, boom.
Okay, so there is a upfront fee
Yes.
and maybe a
Finder's fee.
achievement fee.
Yeah.
An
Yeah, there's a finder's fee if
accomplishment
they date for a year or they get married sooner.
Okay.
Because one
And
couple
so
got married 3 months from
What
the
if they
first
don't marry? What if they keep dating
Then they
indefinitely?
don't owe me if they keep dating at a year, they owe me the finder's fee because they're looking
Okay.
for a serious
Okay,
relationship.
yeah. So
And
it's a
after
time-
3 months
right.
or 3 weeks sometimes if it's not got legs.
Right.
But if it does, because I'm stacking the deck. You show up, she's
Sure.
like you hope
Sure.
she looks. She's as nice as you hope she'd be.
Right.
She's interested in traveling like you are.
Right.
She's got some worldly experience and
You've
some
aligned these
joie
things.
de vivre.
So how do you qualify? What's the process for qualifying who your client really is? Because I can tell you who I think I am, but how do you find out who I really am?
Well, if you think you know who you are, you probably do.
Okay.
If you aren't able to express it, I ask all the questions
you
because I
pull
know
it
what to
out.
ask.
Okay.
Yeah. And you may never have thought about it in as much detail
Sure.
as I want to get. Because
Sure.
I was never forced to ask about presidential politics until Trump because Trump came in the way. And one of my clients said he's the divider in chief.
Right.
And so I had to start asking,
Right.
where do you stand on Trump? Not just which party are you, but where do you stand on the
But
man?
you have to align on political interests, on religious
You have to if it
interests.
matters to you.
Okay.
If it's one of your important
Okay.
areas that
Yeah.
you're active, that you think about, that you want to talk about. But for a lot of people, it's not what's really at the top of what they want to spend
Right.
their life,
Right.
doing. It's just something that they think about for their business, but not beyond that as dinner table topics on a date.
Now, you mentioned you have a database of connections that you've made.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep that data? How do you
I just upgraded, seriously.
Okay.
I used to just keep it on a Mac and Word
a
docs
Rolodex,
and all the photos in the album, and I would just find them that way. But now I've got something sexy. So the minute I meet you, I can send you something that you start filling out. If you're one of the girls I've approached, you get something right back from me that helps
Okay.
you reach the next
So
step.
there's a-
And you get a request for photos that are recent, and I tell you exactly which kind of photos are going to help us. I don't want professional photos. I don't
Right.
want you to do anything that's out of character. I don't want the stars to align
Sure.
and the clouds to part and that one day you have perfect hair. I want to know, what do you look like with your friends?
Gotcha.
What do you look
Gotcha.
like with your family? How close are you with your siblings, your dog? How, do you have pictures of you golfing, traveling?
Right.
What makes you you, and what can I tell somebody about you?
Okay.
I don't want you just standing by a tree.
But you keep so you have your clients and their profiles
Right.
set up.
And
then
everybody
you
that
have,
I might find from, like, one of my guys came in and I said, it's going to take us 2 days to go through all the girls. But before I do show you everybody, I have someone in mind, and I just want to get maybe the bar set and see if what you told me, if this is what you're thinking too, because
Sure.
I don't want to bias
See.
you too much. Let me tell you about her. And one guy says, I want to see your top 5. And you'd know who he is. He's amazing. And I showed him the top 5. He says, is it that one? And I'm like, yeah, it is. That was pretty good. And he wanted a Christian woman who was smart, took care of herself, elegant, all these things. And so that was the one. And I was really glad that he agreed, because it's what you think that matters more
Sure.
than what I think.
Sure.
I have you rank them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who are the top 5? Why is this one number 5 and why is this one number 1? Sometimes there's somebody who's so visually compelling, even though there's 2 other girls that might be a better fit,
Right.
like for the long run, but you can't get this one out of your mind.
thoughts. Mhm.
So we can't have you, I can't ruin it for number 2 and number 3. And I want your full attention. So we have to maybe see about number 1 and see if there's a possibility in it. Or you have to tell yourself, I can't do it,
Right.
because of what she said about having
These
kids or a
become
guy with kids. Yeah, whatever.
deal killers.
But the deal killers are usually out of the way. So there's like something maybe just a little more compelling about the other two, but there's something just really intoxicating about the one. And the intoxication can...
physical connection is so strong.
Yeah, they're all attractive.
Sure,
But
sure, I
sometimes
understand.
if you're in a room full of attractive women...
Some people just want certain hair color. It doesn't matter. Some people want eye color. Some people want skin tone. Some people... so it's...
Well, yeah, and what's attractive
even
is
though
usually
that
universal.
may not be the person that's best for you based on your true personality.
I showed a guy 5 girls, one of my guys way back when, and he said, I guess I forgot to tell you something because these were the top 5. And I'm like, I've screened everything. What could he be thinking? He says, I forgot to tell you I prefer brunettes.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like, blonde, 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 blonde.
Whoops.
So 2 weeks later, God sent me a gorgeous green-eyed brunette at Olive and Ivy after I went to see a movie with a friend.
Right. That's fine.
And I'm like, I need you. Are you single? No ring. Yeah, and that's who he married.
That's cool. What's the typical age group of your client?
The age range, the youngest right now is 27, really
Okay.
together guy from a very established family in the Valley. Fit, his dad helped him remake his garage into a fitness center. He's getting a master's degree, really got his act together. And his siblings have gotten married, and his mom knows the mom of one of my couples.
Okay.
Yeah, and so 27 is the youngest. I've had 25. Then 67 is the oldest.
Okay.
But more people are in their 20s, 30s, 40s because there's just more single people in those age
Well,
ranges.
I'm curious if 20-somethings anymore really want a serious relationship.
I met 2 21-year-olds at the polo event on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
and they said, yes, we would love to
It seems
find
to
a
be
great guy in
changing,
this
'cause
town.
For a long time, the 20-somethings didn't.
It can
want
still,
to
there's
make
still
that
definitely
commitment.
some women who need, and men, young men, they need to go be young men and women.
Right.
And when you're ready, that's
Yeah.
when,
Right.
yeah, it's the right time.
And there are a lot of distractions in that age group. There's
There's a lot
I
of
mean,
distractions
with
in
social
every age
media, with gaming for the guys, and my son, 22-year-old, single, entrepreneur.
Uh-huh.
So his company's a sponsor of our show. So, but he doesn't. And he wants to be in a relationship. But on the other hand, what does that mean? Are you, when you say to someone in their 20s, do you want to be in a relationship? Yes. Oh, but I still want to be able to do this and this and that. We're like, wait a minute. Those things don't go hand in hand. So.
And sometimes when the right one comes along, even if you're out there expressing your freedom and just enjoying traveling when you want to
Right.
and not having to check in with anybody, and then magic happens,
Yeah, that's true.
things change, priorities change, decisions
true.
change.
That is true.
You want to spend time together.
So how do people find Roseanne or SPiES? Which
yeah.
one do they
They can
reach out
They
to?
can find out through Instagram, LinkedIn.
Okay.
Best way is to text me, 602-241-1800. I don't get a lot of text. So people self-select if they really want to go through something
Okay.
like this because of the questions I ask and where you have to be. And if a man is hiring me, it's a big decision.
Okay. So you do at the events you're going to regularly.
I post some of it
you
on
meet
Instagram.
both sides of your equation. You meet those that are likely to become a client, so you convince them through your discussions, your efforts.
And
to
a lot of times it's
sign
them
up.
telling me about their friends.
Yeah, right.
Because a lot of the
okay.
guys that want me are probably out on a date or
Okay.
they're at some sort of business function and it's really not a comfortable time to talk. Maybe they'll check me out later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I get a lot of referrals. I've had podcast interviews, TV, like one of the news stations followed me around at the polo event on Saturday meeting women.
Oh, that's fun.
So somebody will find out through their friends or the media, which I'm just so grateful for. And we're
Okay.
being voted on for Best Matchmaker. We've won every year in AZ Foothills Best of Our Valley since 2014.
All right. So
Yes.
that certainly helps get the word out.
But it's never, every single day, I have to make new relationships and nurture people that I see again and
Right.
yeah, and stay in touch. And
But that's the entrepreneurial side of you.
Yeah, when you
All
said what keeps you
entrepreneurs.
awake at night, I'm like, the people that I haven't found love yet for. That's what keeps me awake.
Okay.
I'm thinking about how can I find this guy who wants to, who's a handsome, Jewish, tall man. How do I find him the love of his life?
Right.
If you guys know her, she's in her 30s and takes good care of herself. She could be into yoga. She has something that she's passionate about, and she's smart. He is articulate, and when he comes home, he would love somebody who has something that she's done in her day that she has to converse with him about, and it's not just him saying what happened in
Right.
his day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes a girl somebody you want to come home to.
There you go. All right. Well, with that, we'll let our entrepreneurs go back to work and or get on LinkedIn or Instagram and
Or
find Roseanne
yeah.
Higgins, SPiES, which again is
Single professional introductions for the Especially Selective. And the website is especiallyselective.com.
and she is former military. She does not take her missions lightly.
Navy.
If you
Go
put her to work for you, she will achieve, right? So, all right.
If I take them on as a client.
Exactly.
So they have to
Exactly.
be kissable and dateable.
Kissable and dateable. So,
Yeah.
what was the Hitch?
Yeah.
The movie?
Yeah.
Great movie, and that was the
It was
point
fun.
of there. It's you don't just take anyone; they got to have the right mindset. So, all right, good. With that, we'll end it, and thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on a future episode. Don't forget to like this episode if you enjoyed it. Let Roseanne know that you appreciate her services, and then subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.